Welcome everyone. Just give it another minute or so for other people to join in, and then I will get going on my presentation. Okay, I'm going to get started now. Welcome to the session. Talking about the MSc in Sport and Exercise Science and Medicine for distance learning. My name is Dr. Gemma Ryde, and I'm the Programme Director for this MSc. So I just wanted to first say a huge welcome and thank you for taking the time to come and watch this session. We are really proud of our MSc here at the University of Glasgow, and I want to provide you with a lot of more information about the programme to allow you to make an informed choice about whether you decide to come and join us here at Glasgow or not. I want you to know that I appreciate how much time and money it takes to come and do a master's, and it's not a decision that you will take lightly. It's something you have to think about and make the right decision for you and your future career. So all I want to do is be able to give you much information as I can about our MSc here at Glasgow to allow you to make that choice to the best of your ability. So what I'm going to cover today is we're going to look a little bit about why I think it's good to come to Glasgow and why specifically our MSc in Sport and Exercise Science and Medicine. I'm going to give you an opportunity to meet the team. So I'm going to talk about who we've got teaching on our programme, go through the programme structure, talk about which pathways you can take, how we deliver the programme, which includes things like our residential week, IT support that you'll get with the programme, research projects, graduate destinations, and then an opportunity for you to put any questions into the chat function, which I will be able to answer at the end. So whilst I know we're talking about distance learning and our students can come from all over the globe, I always like to say that obviously Scotland is a top destination choice if you want some really soggy weather and some rather amazing scenery. But of course, what I really want to talk about is why come to the University of Glasgow. So Glasgow University is one of the world top 100 universities. We have 43,000 students from more than 140 countries worldwide. We're ranked in the UK's top 20 for graduate employability. That means when you do a degree with us, that you are very likely to get a job afterwards. We have a wide range of student clubs and societies as well, over 300 that you can be part of. And we offer lots of additional opportunities as well when you study with us, like study abroad opportunities, for example. But why are we looking at this MSc in Sport and Exercise Science and Medicine? So it's actually the only degree in Scotland that merges these two concepts of sports science and sports medicine. So we feel like it's actually quite a unique course to be part of. It's ranked #1 in the UK for sports science. It's accredited by the Royal Society of Biology. And we have an expert base of core staff who I'm going to introduce you to in the next slide. And also we have a wide connection of researchers and practitioners that we bring in as guest lecturers, which I think is a really unique aspect of what we do. We try and get the best people in the field to come and teach you on this programme. For example, we are linked with Hampden Sports Clinic, who are based here in Glasgow. Hampden is the home of Scottish football. And the sports clinic there, that we have their teaching staff come and teach our sports injuries courses, for example. So we're not trying to teach you those ourselves. We're getting the leading experts in the world who work in practice to come and teach you about these topics. So this is some of the team here. So obviously there's myself, I'm the programme director for the distance learning. You'll also meet Stuart Gray, who is the program director for the on-campus MSc. So we have an on-campus and a distance learning, which are basically the same kind of degree program. And you will gain the benefit from actually having this kind of wider network of people there. Jason Gale is the co-director of both those programs. Lindsay Ross, who's on the call today, is our amazing program administrator, so giving you all the administrative support you need. And then we have a series of in-house lecturers, including Carla Sellis, who is an expert in big data analysis. Michael King works for the Scottish Football Association, is one of our new lecturers coming to talk about applied sports science. Katie Stewart is the director of Hampden Sports Clinic, so she teaches on the programme along with her team, which is led up by Alan Scott. And then we also have Douglas Morrison and John McClure, who take our research and statistics. So we have a great core team of people here who are expert in their areas, who you will gain advantage from speaking to and learning from. So one of the most important things I think for you guys to know is looking at the program map. So this is not actually available online. This is something I've come up with myself to try and show you guys what the program looks like in reality. So across the way here, we have year 1, then we have year 2 underneath and year 3 at the bottom. So you can take part in all 3 years if you want to do the full MSc, or you could just take part in year 1 to do your diploma and year 1 and 2 to get your certificate. So you can engage at 3 different levels in the MSc. For year 1, we have 3 semesters. So semester 1 will be starting in September and run through to just before Christmas. So, semester 2 will start in January and run through till about now. We've just about finished teaching for the distance learning, and then we have like a semester 3 which runs over the summer time. So so kind of extending that kind of period a little bit more there. So for the first year, you would take part in research method and statistics, which is a required course, and that actually runs long. That runs along semester 1, 2, and 3. So you do your research methods with Douglas in semester 1. John will come and do your stats in semester 2, and then in semester 3 it will be catch-up time and allowing you to do your assessments for that as well. So there's all your assessments as well as online. You're not expected to come in person at all. But in addition to that, you have some optional courses that you can take. So for semester 1, you choose +1 of the options you can see underneath there, which you would see online in our prospectus. So nutritional aids, factors influencing performance, physical activity and health epidemiology, mechanisms and interventions, and exercise prescription. And then in semester 2, in addition to doing your research methods, you can choose another one of the options below, which is working with elite athletes, physical activity behavior change, technology and analytics, sports injuries, and sports injuries specifically for doctors and physios. So if you are coming to us from a doctor and physio background, which we have a lot of on the distance learning, then we have a specific sports injuries course just for you, where you can take part in the OSCE, so you can get a practical examination in there as well. If you then chose to go on to second year, then you get the repeat of those courses that you didn't get in first year, where you can choose one option in semester 1, two options in semester 2, but we run them long as well. So you do your assessments and catch up on content throughout semester 2 and 3. And then in year 3 is your major project. So if you stay on for year 3, then this is when you do your research project, which will take basically a good part of that kind of whole year. One thing to kind of note here as well is that we have different streams within the program. So you've already heard me mention about somebody who's maybe more who's a doctor already, or from a physio background, that you can see here where you can get a bit more expertise within the kind of sports kind of line, especially with the injuries, factors influencing sporting performance, working with elite athletes. These are very key, a stream if you want to go down sports medicine kind of field. They're also really important when we're looking at if you're a sports scientist or working more in physiology kind of area. You can see that there's a kind of sports related theme that you can go down there, or if you come from my background, which is actually physical activity and health, you can choose a pathway which suits you along those lines as well. So for me, for example, I would be looking at something like physical activity and epidemiology, the physical activity behavior change, exercise prescription, because I would want to tailor my degree more to working with maybe clinical populations or the general population. So we actually have streams within the program that you can elect to take part in. And looking a little bit about the format of the courses and the delivery methods, obviously you are all interested in the distance learning. And we have an online platform called Moodle, which is where you get all your online resources. So we are doing a big upgrade of Moodle specifically for you guys starting this coming year, where we're looking at a lot more of an interactive kind of base program. We have some online, like our lectures are online, and then we have tasks for you to do. Have a little checklist each week, so you know when you've kind of achieved your week, so that you can actually try and manage your workloads. We appreciate students will engage in throughout the week. They will engage in the evening because they're probably working during the day. And they'll also engage a lot on the weekends as well. So very flexible in how you can access that material. What we are going to do though this year is we're trying to link you a little bit more with the on-campus program. So there's normally a smaller cohort that come in the distance learning, but we have a large cohort who come in on campus, and we're talking about 60, 70 students each year for the on-campus. So what we're trying to do is have some shared resources between the two different ways of accessing our program. So it means that you're part of a larger cohort of people where you can make a better network and kind of learn from them as well. So when all your resources are online, you can go take part in watch all the sessions and things online. We will also use Microsoft Teams as for discussion boards, where our on-campus students will be posting things that they've done with us during the week. And you can engage in that material as well and do some of your tasks and things and learn from their experiences in person, as well as having the online option, which is something new that we're doing this year, but we think it's a really beneficial thing for our on-campus students to have a wider community around them. Also, to kind of add towards that, we have a residential week, which you can take part in. Normally, well, it's coming up in June. It's the 16th of June this year, where you can come and join us on campus for a week. If you choose to, it's an elective thing. You don't have to do it. And you come see us at Glasgow. And then we provide, I do a day on physical activity and using physical activity devices and all the stuff that you would have learned online. You get to come and actually hold some things and try some things out. Stuart will have you in the labs doing testing, VO2 max testing, doing skin folds and learning how to correctly take people's height and weights. So lots of different kind of sessions that we do in person during that week to give you a bit more of a practical side, if that's something that you're really keen on gaining the experience of, but can't actually come and see us in person. So that's a really fun week, actually. That's a really good fun week. And obviously I've not put anything up here about labs. I've just tried to kind of showcase some of the amazing things that we have in and around Glasgow, because if you've not been, it's a fantastic destination to come and visit. Obviously, because you'd be distance learning as well, we have dedicated online support from our digital technology and innovation team. So this is Jenny Crow here, and we also have Christopher, who are our digital learning and technology support team, and they are excellent at helping with online engagement and making sure you're all set up. Any kind of things that you need to kind of get established, then they are there to make sure that your online experience is smooth and as seamless as we can make it, because we appreciate that it's quite challenging to take part in something that's online. No matter how much we've progressed in this area, there are still kind of technical glitches, but we've got a support network there already for you. Also want to mention about the research projects. If you choose to do the full MSc and you go into third year, so this is a major part of your MSc. It's kind of, I see it as the kind of crowning jewels kind of on at the end of your MSc. So I think the key thing about the research projects is that we can try and link it into the work that you're doing at the moment. So For example, I had a consultant based out in Wales who spoke to me recently. He was a consultant within gynecology, and he was really interested in looking at things to do with endometriosis and athletes' performance. Or we could look at things to do with how physical activity might help women in sports, or sports participation can help with symptoms of endometriosis, for example. So linking what the individual's doing within their day job into their research project. So that's, I think, is a really key thing, especially when people are talking about how do they manage workloads, that we are very aware that a lot of people have other commitments, and we try as much as we can to make sure that the work that you do with us is related and applicable. And for that reason as well, we actually have lots of different outputs that you can produce as a result of doing a research project. So you can write an academic journal article as part of that. So it's not a thesis that you write. You're not going to be writing 15,000 words. You are going to be writing something which is a really tangible output from your research project that you hopefully will help you in your future career. So if you decide to go down an academic line, you can produce a research article. So a 5,000 word research article that you can write up, that you can actually submit in a journal if it's a good enough standard. You can look at producing a report, so something a bit more with an executive summary, something that you'd see, for example, Sports England or Sports Scotland producing to do with communication in to their stakeholders. So if that's the area you work in, you could do a research project that could be tailored towards a stakeholder that you're engaging with. You could come up with an educational resource, something that you can use within schools, for example, to promote physical activity, and you can evaluate how pupils are becoming more physically active from this new resource that you've kind of created. So there's loads of options, and this is probably the thing I get most excited about because it's the research side of things. So I think that's a really key part of our degree program. So another key thing that I always get asked is, where on earth do I go after I do this MSc? I think it's really important that we don't just collect qualifications. You have to do an MSc, which is going to cost you time and money to get you further on in your career. And I wanted to show that actually a lot of our students do go on to do that, especially within the distance learning, because they're normally students who have got obviously already in jobs, and they're using this to kind of progress kind of further in their careers. So for example, we have a lot of students who are doctors already who want to specialize in sport. So they come in and they actually can become team doctors for various clubs in and around all over the globe. People who maybe have got a physio background or sports injuries background, or musculoskeletal health background, and want to do more sports specific aspects, that this MSc really helps them go down the more sports specific line. We've got lots of students who become strength and conditioning coaches, go on to do PhDs, do further research, go into their kind of academic line. And one of the examples I wanted to share is actually Katie Stewart, who is one of our the teachers who comes to teach from Hampden. She was a former alumni of this course, so she did this course and now she teaches on it and runs her own sports clinic. So that gives you an example of how this MSc can actually help people go into real world jobs, real world destinations, because at the end of the day, that's really, really important. So that's a quick whistle-stop tour of some of the things I think are the key things I would like people to know when they're coming onto the program. So I'm going to open up for any questions, but I'm just going to start. I'm going to answer some that I got sent before I had the session today. I got asked a question to do with graduate destinations, which hopefully we've answered partly. Somebody asked about juggling work and studies. I would say it's not easy, but you can see what we've spread. Normally the on-campus students do it in 1 year, and we've spread this one out over 3 to hopefully make sure that you are only having to focus on one course at a time, or you've got a smaller amount of work to achieve. Whilst we run the courses on like a 10-week rolling basis, so when each week we'll introduce a topic. When you consume that material is up to you. So we have some students who are on placement or doing something for 2 weeks, and then they ignore their coursework, and then they bulk it into a whole week. And then they take another week off, then they bulk it into another week. Or we have our weekend warriors and our evening warriors who work during the day, and then in the evening, and the weekends, that's when they catch up with all their kind of university work. So I'm not trying to say it's easy, but it is possible to be able to balance this. And we have a lot of people who have got full-time jobs pretty much, and then come and do the distance learning part-time. So there is obviously a time commitment to this. So I think we normally say that one 20 credit course is about 200 hours of kind of engagement. But the actual online material is not that much. That includes the additional readings that we have for you, watching the sessions, engaging in discussion boards, things like that. So it's hopefully something that you could try and work around your existing schedules. The final question I got asked was to do with how do we deal with the online, like how to do an online practical. So obviously I've mentioned about residential week. That's one way that we help to get that practical experience. But the other thing is, so for some of the online, most of the lab-based stuff that you engage with is we'll give you really detailed videos, so you can watch. It's normally Stuart in the lab or me in the lab doing some work, and we take you through some videos and tasks and questions kind of after that. So you'll gain the practical experience through residential week, and then you'll still be able to see and hopefully gain from some of the videos and working with the on-campus students as well. So that's it from me. I'm going to have a look in the chat for some of the questions. I'm trying to find one that Danielle hasn't managed to answer. Is there anything that you could see, Danielle, that you think is important to hit first?
Nothing specifically. I mean, I feel like I have answered the questions, but happy to read them out and see if you have anything to add to my answers. So a student has asked, can I apply for September study if I haven't finished my bachelor's yet?
We will need your certificates. That's the only thing. So when you apply, we do ask you to have the certificates in place. Lindsay, I don't know if you have more of an experience of when we ask for those.
Yeah, what you can do is put on your application that you're pending the document, and then as soon as you get it, you can upload it. It's just when you'll receive it. But yeah, you can be offered then a conditional offer pending your qualification. So
yeah. So if you pass all other entry requirements and you're just waiting on your final certificate, you can apply and you will be hopefully offered your conditional offer. And as Lindsay said, you can then upload it at a later stage in your application, and then your offer will be changed from conditional to unconditional. So we do encourage everyone to put in your application. It's much easier just to put in your application, and then you can send in any queries to us and just ask what stage is my application at. It's much easier when we have your applications already in the system. So hopefully that answers that question. We've had another student question ask, is there any funding for distance learning? I did answer this one. So we don't have specific University of Glasgow scholarships or funding for online distance learning. However, we do have scholarships and funding available. You would need to use the search function that I've popped a little link into in the chat. If you use this and just put in your details, what country you're from, and maybe I think it's program of study as well, you'll be able to see what is available for funding. And I can see we've had a few other questions pop in there whilst we've been chatting. So is the credit tuition online the same for non-EU students? Yes, for online distance learning, our fee structure is one fee for everyone. So there isn't a specific fee for home students or international students. It is just the one fee. So what you see online on the programme webpage is what is for everyone. Yes, the recording is going to be available after the webinar today. I will be subtitling the webinar and uploading it onto our YouTube channel, and then also emailing it out to everyone. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to it live, or you've just joined us, you will be able to hear the full presentation. Hopefully that will be up in about a week's time. We've got another student question in. Do we have access to the same resources as on-campus students, like the library? Yes, we
Yes.
do. Gemma, do
Yeah.
you want to answer this one?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, you have exactly the same kind of access. You can come on campus as well. It's not that you're excluded from coming on campus. You get, a student card, and you can come, on campus as well, because we do have some distance learning students who are closer to the area, so so they do actually come down and see us. Obviously, with regards to other, your kind of online teaching materials as well, you will share the same Moodle page now as the on-campus student. So we're actually hoping that means you will get more access to resources, and exactly the same as what we're kind of providing other students as well.
I think you can apply and get your student card from us. And if you are local to Glasgow or the surrounding area, you are also more than welcome to come onto campus and use the facilities. You can visit the library. Yeah, you can access everything just the same as an on-campus student. A lot of our students actually come to Glasgow for holidays to visit during their studies or afterwards for their graduation as well. And it's a lovely way to finish when you're an online student and you get to come and see our beautiful campus. Just see if there's any more questions that have came in. Is there an academic and careers advisor I can reach out to? Did you have a contact in your presentation? If not, I can post it in the chat.
No, I didn't. Yeah, if you could put that in the chat, that would be great.
Perfect. I'll pop a link in the chat, and I'll also include it in our email when we send it out to you guys. So when I send the recording out, I will pop in some helpful links for everyone to access. So yes. For previous education, do you require all certificates from my ordinary level exam certificates? Gemma, do you want to answer this?
I don't know if I can. Lindsay, do you want...
I don't know either, to be honest. Yeah, just obviously for your personal statement, upload all your...
Oh, you went back on mute, Lindsay.
Yeah, just to obviously for your application to upload all your certificates that you have. And then there will be a personal statement to obviously include your work experience and your qualifications too.
I think so long as well, better to just upload everything if you have it available. Better to just upload everything if you think it is relevant. The entry requirements on the web page, it does state what documents you will need to submit during your application. So I think if you have your most recent bachelor's degree transcripts and certificates, I think that should be suffice. I'm not sure if we need, I don't know if it's school qualifications that you're referring to. I don't know if we'll need them. I think your most recent qualifications should be the best ones to upload. But if you're unsure, just upload everything if you have them readily available. We have some more questions come in about the application process. I completed my MSc in 97 and 98. Will it make a difference for applying as it was a while ago, as I've been working as a sports therapist? No.
No, it's fine. And you got years of experience there as well. So that you sound ideal. So yeah, wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, I think maybe for the programs you might need to have references. And again, because your recent, sorry, not your recent, your study was a while ago, you might not be able to reach out to the academics to get a reference for that. Just upload 2 other references. Don't worry about it being academic or not. Just make sure you upload the minimum amount of references. And that should be absolutely fine. If you do apply and you have any issues, please, again, feel free to reach out to us. We do have an email address on our webpage that you can contact us about. So please do if you have any questions. If I come on campus, can I participate in classroom lectures?
You would have to advise me of the dates and the lectures that the dates that you would be available. It's just because we're at room capacities for some of the courses. So obviously the campus students would obviously be prioritised on certain sessions. But if you let me know when you'll be on campus, and if there's availability, then yeah, certainly you can attend, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't get a timetable as such. So the on-campus students are timetabled for the distance learning because it's a consume as it suits you. Apart from obviously when you need to submit assignments and things, we don't timetable you in, so you won't receive like when the campus students timetable is. So it would have to be an additional thing. So I wouldn't say we discourage it, but we probably wouldn't encourage it routinely. I think it would be because you happen to be in the country for a week or up here for a small amount of time, it wouldn't be something we would routinely do.
But we would welcome you for the residential week as well, because that's timetabled for you as well. So that would be beneficial. You could meet all your colleagues and obviously the staff then as well. Yeah.
That's great, thank you. So I think we've answered all the questions just now that are in the chat box. If you have any more questions, please feel free to pop them in and we'll give it a go at answering them. I'll ask a couple of more questions that we've got. Is there a good link to move on from this qualification to a PhD?
Yeah, a lot of our students want to do that actually. So I provide a lot of information to our students about opportunities depending on where they want to go. So for example, there's lots of different funding opportunities that you can do to apply for a PhD. I would say one of my key places to look at is called findaphd.com. It's a website that a lot of universities, in fact, every university's got a PhD in the UK and internationally. Actually, a lot of them will post on Find a PhD. So you can look at funded opportunities there. Also, some people post up when they don't have a funded opportunity, but they have a project idea, and then they'll maybe try and work with you to try and get external funding. So there's also kind of competitive calls you can go in for. So for example, I know in Scotland there's something called the Scottish SGSSS, Scottish Graduate School of Social Sciences, who have a process every year when you can put in a PhD application for a specific kind of project within the social sciences area. And they provide you funding to do your PhD and living expenses as well. So there's funded opportunities out there that you can apply for. There's opportunities out there that supervisors like me post out to students. So there's a lot of potential. And if you have a master's degree, obviously that is normally a prerequisite for going into a PhD. So that we can obviously guide you on that if that's an opportunity you want to do. We'll probably provide you with more specific. If you want to go down the sports line, we've probably got different places you'd look at as opposed to public health and things like that.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any guest speakers on the programme?
Loads. We love our guest speakers. Yeah, as I said at the beginning, so obviously my area is physical activity, workplace health, public health. That's my kind of area of expertise. We have Stuart Gray, who is from the kind of muscle physiologist kind of side of things. So we make up a really good complement between the internal team to be able to bring together this kind of program. But we're not an expert at everything, and we want to make sure you have access to the best experts worldwide. So we bring in lots of guest lecturers to come and speak to you from Institute of Sport in Scotland, for example. We have loads of people who come and speak to us from the Institute of Sport who are literally prepping athletes right now for the Olympics and dealing with team sports and individual sports, strength and conditioning. So we bring them in to come and teach you about the topics that they're expert in. So yeah, you will get access to a wide variety of voices and thoughts and opinions, which I think is a really key thing for this program. But it also means that you're going to have a great network of connections when it comes to look for jobs and speaking to people. You can go up to people and say, "Hi, you taught me in this. I would be really keen on working with you in the future. I really loved your session on X, and you've got that nice buy-in to have an initial conversation instead of it being a cold call," which I think is a very unique thing that we offer at University of Glasgow.
That's great, fantastic. I think we've pretty much answered everything now. The questions have slowed down. We have just had another one pop in. Just to clarify the pace to finish the degree. Time allocated. So is 3 years the maximum amount of time? Can they do it in a shorter period of time? Or are they going to be restricted to certain modules in certain years?
We've had some students complete in 2 years, but again, it really depends on work commitments, outside commitments as well. You do have up to 6 years from starting to completion, but it's usually over the 3 years that students would. Sorry.
Yeah, so you can take, so what I've had a few students do is they're not sure whether they want to do the 1, 2, or the 3, or they'll start doing the 2 and then they do want to do the final year. So there's lots of flexibility, and you can pause studies. So, you know, things happen in life, people get married, have babies, things happen in job commitments and stuff. So you can pause your studies and complete them over this longer kind of time period. So we do try and offer flexibility, because we realize specifically for people coming for the distance learning that they normally have a lot more going on than maybe on campus students who primarily have come straight from an undergraduate onto the masters. Our distance learning students are typically in jobs, slightly older, a bit more life experience, and have other things going on. So we try and cater as much as we can for this slightly different population.
That's great, thank you. We have another student question. Someone has said, I'm interested in performing arts medicine. Is this a good route for me to start?
Performing arts medicine, I'm not entirely sure, but maybe the answer is no. If I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. I don't know if you could put some extra details kind of in the chats to allow me to answer that a bit more proficiently.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose do you know what we do have? So if we're talking performing, we have a lot of connections outside of sport, which would be coming into things like, for example, Scottish Ballet. If I'm interpreting, yeah, with performance. Okay, cool. No, I do know what you're talking about. I thought I did, but I just thought I'd check. So we also have an undergraduate program here, where we have a host of other lecturers and academics who we work with on the MSc. So whilst I've been talking about the MSc and all our people here, we actually have a group of double the staff base who work in other areas. And I know one of our colleagues in the undergraduate does the sports science support for Scottish Ballet. So we can provide you with opportunities in the kind of the more wider concepts now of where sports medicine is needed in the kind of performance more broadly, including the arts. Yes, so it's not something that we're expert in, I wouldn't say, but we definitely do have the connections in that area. And for example, it means that if you do the project, you could do a project in that area, and we would have the supervision support to be able to give you really, really good support to do a project in that specific area, instead of it being a football. One of our team who's really involved in football trying to translate their knowledge, we do have quite a wide base. So we have people working in rugby and ballet, hockey, loads of football. I'm more kind of clinical based, so we have people based out at we have supervisors from cancer care units, and just a really wide variety of areas that you could go into.
Great. Hopefully that answers the question.
Mm-hmm.
Given that there is flexibility within the course, can I finish in 2 years, for example? So Lindsay, I don't know if you want to just reiterate what you said previously.
Yeah, basically you have to complete your dissertation, which is 60 credits in the core courses, and then the programme is made up of all the option courses. So it depends if you want to undertake more in year 1 than year 2. But yeah, it's completely personal, this programme, obviously around your own work commitments, your own commitments outside of work. So yeah, your 180 credits is made up completely on your availability and flexibility. We've got some students that are maybe busier in more semester 1 than semester 2, or year 1 to year 2. So it's really entirely personal to the students' individual commitments. Yeah.
I think the questions are slowing down. Seems like we've answered all just now. As I say, when we end this webinar, we will send you out the recording and you can watch it back and listen to it again. Maybe you'll have more questions after you listen to it again. Please feel free to reach out to us. As I said, we have an email address on our programme web page, so you can send us a little email, ping in your application. I would always encourage everyone to get your application in as soon as possible. Then you'll be able to get your decision quicker, and then you can make your plans based on that. So yes, hopefully you found today helpful. I just want to say thank you to Gemma and Lindsay for the presentation today and helping me answer the questions. And I'm sure all of our students appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's attended today.
Thank you, everyone.